Hey guys, this is Mel, and I'm back to talk about the 100, episode 715, titled The Dying of the Light, which premiered Wednesday, September 23rd, 2020 on the CW. I'm recording same night. It is 10:55 p.m. So huge spoiler alert. If you haven't seen the episode already, well, you could go do so first, or you could just stick around and see what I have to say about the episode. Hopefully it's a good recap for you in case you're one of the fans who just don't want to give your account but still want to know how the show ends. Then I'm here with that video. Otherwise, I'd normally say go watch the video first to get the full scope of it. But considering what happened in 713, I understand. So my video is here for you. But otherwise, other video reminders up on screen. Take a moment to remind yourselves of those. This is also episode 99. This is also the episode before the series finale. So a lot does happen in this episode. So before I get into it, quick YouTube shout outs to Elvis Ibrahimovic, Amy A, and Ann Doe for your comments all on my previous video for 714. And then also a shout out to maybe CJ for their comment on my Bellamy Deserves Better video. Much appreciated to all of you for taking the time. And then just anybody who has watched my videos and didn't leave a comment, I still appreciate to you guys just for taking time out of your day to hear what I have to say. Really appreciate that. But let's get right into the video. I'm not going to time it today. Just because, yeah, let's see how I do. But I'll try to keep it short as best I can. But let's start with what happened in this episode. So timeline-wise, it continues from where 714 ended. As you know, at the very end of the episode, Bardo sent a bomb. Miller put it into, I think it was meant to be the containment hatch between the outside and the bunker. It detonated, but then it kind of resulted in the bunker collapsing in some aspects of it, and we do see Murphy and Amori kind of get caught in that. So we pick up right off where that whole thing happened. The episode reminder, though, is the fact that we are racing against a clock in many different aspects of the show, which leads to the objective of the episode is both to save Amori and save Maddie. Amori due to her injuries sustained in the bunker collapse, and Maddie because she pretty much sacrificed herself to go to Bardo so that none of her friends and family could be used or killed to get to her, kind of a thing. So there's that. So episode breakdown or storylines, again, it's taken between two parts of Bardo and Earth, but also there's two sub storylines on each planet as well. So we'll talk about Earth. I have two parts there, and then with Bardo, two parts. So with Earth, I have part one is pretty much the characters stuck in the arena portion of the bunker, and then part two is the portion that's dealt with the collapse within the bunker, kind of a thing. So with part one in the arena, we have characters Clark, Octavia, Indra, Gaia, Miller, Jordan, and Hope, and they are pretty much barricaded because the where Miller had put the bomb is kind of their only way out, I believe, so they're kind of stuck there. They definitely cannot get to the rec room where they believe the stone was last located through the helmet. So while they're stuck there, Clark and Octavia decide to take the nanotech that Shaheda left behind as an option if Maddie went peacefully to Bardo, and nothing happens to them. So while they're waiting for the nanotech to activate to take them to Bardo, pretty much they're all trying to figure out what's their plan of attack. Clark's anxiety is really going over the roof because of her worries for Maddie, rightfully so. So there's all that, and we will touch back base in Bardo part 2 for that. But part 2 for Earth is dealing with the kind of what happened with the collapse, and that is with Murphy and Amori being stuck under the rubble and being found by Jackson and Raven. So Murphy's found first. He seems to be unscathed aside from the dirt. He's still able to walk around and everything, but it's Amori who's buried under the rubble. She was impaled, I think, by rebarb in her stomach, and then I think also her leg got, it's bad, to the point that Jackson had to cauterize her leg in the hallway before Raven was able to find a gurney to put Amori on to take her to the rec room because they need to get to Sanctum to truly operate on Amori to save her life. So they are racing to try to dig out where they found a clue to where the stone is, but Amori she's slowly dying. So Raven eventually Murphy ends up showing enough of the stone during their dig to allow for Raven to activate the code to Sanctum. But just as they're about to do that, Emori loses consciousness, or I think she's not breathing anymore, to the point that Jackson has to do chest compressions to keep the blood circulating. But we do see the four of them do travel through the portal or through the bridge to get to Sanctum. We don't see Sanctum, but it's implied that they're going to get there. So there's that. Now, when we go to Bardo, first storyline is extracting the test code, and the second one is the rescue attempt. So the first one is we find out that Maddie in memory capture, they find out as Levitt orchestrates the whole investigation, I guess you could say, with Cadigan supervising. They find out that Maddie's memories of the flame aren't kept in the usual parts of the brain where memory capture would go to grab the memories. So in order to get to the flames memories, it's going to be very dangerous feat that Levitt has never done before, although Cadigan keeps telling him to tread with caution because they need the memory intact. But Maddie is cooperative to the point where, until she gets access to what Becca saw going through that white portal we saw in the flashback. And when she saw that, she revealed that Becca was on the other side, and she said that Bill was not ready, or he should not be the one going over. And it seems like this is something that kind of further has Levitt casting doubt on Cadigan and their mission of the last war. He's been showing signs throughout the whole time that Maddie's in memory capture, based off of what she reveals and how Cadigan tries to play it off as like what she says is no big deal kind of thing. But you kind of see like him slowly losing his faith a little bit. And it's only until when Maddie, after she says that Becca said that Bill should not be the one to transport them to transcendence, and Bill claiming that that they disagree, but he's taken many years to prepare for this, and Becca did not know the man he is now, kind of a thing. It was very bullshit excuse, but it resulted in Maddie fighting, and then her being restrained, and then Levitt being dismissed from her memory capture, which sadly goes into rescue attempt number 2. So because Levitt was released from his duties with Maddie, he sets out to activate the nanotech to allow Clark and Octavia to be brought to Bardo, and then he makes his way to get them out of their cells, and they use Shaheda as their distraction on the disciples so the three of them could get to Maddie, only to find in the last moments of the episode that Cadigan had destroyed Maddie's mind so much in order to get the last war code that all of her motor function is now destroyed. She's conscious, but she's trapped in her own body, kind of a thing, leaving it to the point that it's not repairable. It's a one-way street for her now, to the point that Clark thinks that the best for Maddie is to end her life, but Octavia offers to do it because she does not want Clark to live with the fact that she killed her own daughter, kind of a thing. But before they were to put Maddie out of her misery, Levitt revealed that Cadigan did get the final code he needed from Maddie, and then he just left her there to die, kind of a thing. So now the three of them are determined to go stop Cadigan and this last war that he wants to bring about. And Octavia promises Maddie that she will come back for her after she takes care of Cadigan. And as they leave, we see Maddie crying, locked inside of her body too. So that's something there. I still don't know how to process that. Just the fate that Maddie was dealt with. I mean, it would have been one point. I don't know how I would have preferred it, if they found Maddie already dead in memory capture, or the fact that they found her but she's just trapped in her body. I don't know which way I would have preferred it. If maybe, I mean, I guess a part of me kind of hoped Maddie was going to die, then maybe she died before Cadigan got her the code he needed. But to have her trapped the way she was is just, I wasn't expecting that. But moving on, I'm not going to talk about characters specifically today, but I'll talk about tidbits. And then I'm also not going to talk about ship status, because there is a lot that was unpacked that I kind of already talked about. And yeah, so tidbits. We do not know the actual fates of Echo and Nyla. The last they were seen is in one of the bedrooms, or one of the bunks. when they were talking in the previous episode. We do see that Emori is technically the only one injured during the whole bomb ambush thing. And she does have her moments with Jackson and Raven before she passes out. And she did have her moments with Murphy while Jackson was just before Jackson cauterizes her wound in the hallway. So she's preparing for, like, she believes she's going to die. So she's trying to get everything she can. She's telling Raven that, like, don't go to Sanctum to save me. Go to Bardo to save Maddie, because she already guessed that at this point, Maddie would have sacrificed herself to go to Bardo to save everyone, and they need to go get her to stop this war. And Maury's pretty much saying, like, my one life doesn't matter against all of humanity if stopping the last war is going to do that, kind of a thing. So we got that conversation going on as well. We see Jordan showing Hope some support after Octavia leaves through the nanotech, and then he also brings up his clarity about the Bardo text, about the adjustment protocol, allowing him to gain clarity enough for him to understand what the Bardo text was saying, and how he believes it's a test of character. The fact that everyone's going to war is some kind of a test, because war is not the answer to anything, kind of a thing. It's the accumulation of everything bad, I think he said, or something like that. So we do get a little bit more. I kind of wish they expressed it a little more in his translations of the text, because in the conversation in this episode, the way he was explaining it seemed like another different version of faith or belief, especially when they brought up the belief of the commanders, the belief of the disciples, and how now it's the belief in what the Bardoians, or what the stones were all about. So we do a little bit of something there. But moving on to most shocking moment of the episode, I did just talk about it. The shock was the fact that Maddie was tortured to the point that she was locked inside of her own mind. Her normal functions are just completely destroyed. And if Levitt says that it's with their technology, it's impossible to recover, that's just so shocking to me that they would put a child through that much torture, I guess. It's still mind-blowing to me that is going to be Maddie's end. It's just, yeah, wow. But anyways, you can hence my shock right there. I really don't know what to say about it. It's just like, yeah. So there's that. But moving on to parallels or callbacks, you kind of get a mix of two between them. But there were a lot of callbacks to the point where, like, we do get Maddie's montage of quote unquote her saying she saw everything. We do get, like, I know I saw bits of what happened in the flashback episode with Anaconda for Becky and Callie. We do see flashes. I believe I saw flashes with Lexa and, like, Ali 2.0, and when Clark was talking to both of them, and then, like, when Prime Fire was coming, I swear I saw, like, snippets of here and there of different moments in the series. Maybe I have to wait until that portion goes up on YouTube and really play at slow speed to figure out what other things were shown. I kind of wish it went a little slower, so we too, I can understand how for Maddie it had to look like she saw everything, but it was meant not to make sense for Levitt and Bill when they were looking at it on the monitor. So I can understand that, but I kind of wish that we as the audience were able to understand what was shown like Maddie understood it. But we do get that kind of callback. We do get Emori calling back to her time on the Arc Ring during her talk with Raven. We do get the callback when Gaia brings up how you can't kill one leader and hope that it ends the whole destruction of their faith, because she said, like, if you kill one commander, another one come in its place. You kill one flame keeper, another one replaces it. If you kill one shepherd, another disciple will take his place, kind of a thing. So they do call back on the power of belief and faith in their people. We do get a callback to Shaheda singing the Grounder anthem that we got in episode 303, initially when Lexa welcomed Clark into Polis. And then when it comes to parallels, you get a lot of parent-child dynamic parallels between them. You get Clark and Abby. You get specifically when Clark is relating to Abby whenever Clark went off to save everyone on her own. She's now experiencing with Maddie doing the exact same thing. And then we got references of Bellamy doing everything he can to protect Octavia. And then we get Octavia commenting how she understands both her brother and where Clark are coming from, as now she has hope and she's protective of her, kind of thinking of her as her own child kind of a thing. So we do get a lot of the parent-child dynamics there. So there's that. But moving on to top 3 favorite moments. The huge favorite I did have was the reunion between Octavia and Levitt. So glad that they were able to reunite, because since the last time they saw each other, she pretty much left him tied up and beaten after Echo, I believe. So I'm really glad that not only were they happy to see each other, but I did like the fact that Levitt told Octavia that before he met her, he wasn't truly living, and pretty much saying that, like, he didn't really experience anything before he met her, kind of a thing, or it was her, or it was Octavia that opened his eyes to how things are supposed to be, kind of a thing, or that there's another way than the Barda or than the disciple way, kind of a thing. Either way, I like the two of them. I hope they survive and have a future together. But we'll have to wait and see about that. I did like, as my another favorite, Clark's realization that Maddie is taking after her, pretty much using Clark as her own example of how to do things. And really, Clark only has herself to blame because of that. But it's more of like Clark was kind of hoping, like, no, kind of like do as they say and not as they do, kind of a thing, and that just did not take with Maddie. But I really like that Clark had that moment of realization from Gaia that, like, Maddie's doing what she has known Clark to do, and then Clark was realizing, if this is how I put my mother through it by doing this, then, like, she was kind of like coming full circle in a sense, truly understanding something that Octavia kind of had during her time on Skyring, understanding what Bellamy went through, because now she is going through it with hope, kind of a thing. So I did appreciate that Clark had that moment. Another favorite I did have was the moments that Amori was having, despite how nerve-wracking it is to know that she's thinking that she's gonna die, and with this show it's looking that way. But, like, I did appreciate that she got to say what she wanted to say. So, like, she was able, her words to Raven, how she was saying, like, their time on the ring together was the best for life. They were safe, they were happy and stuff. I do appreciate that Amori was able to say that. Also, Murphy's expression, telling Amori how important she is. It was just, like, everything, to the point where, like, I think that if Amori did die, I don't know how Murphy's going to cope with that. Like, it just, like, there's nothing stronger than these two, for sure, when it comes to a relationship, and that alone, they've been through so much together. They've been together for so long, and it's just, yeah. It just, it felt like, it felt it there. And then to know that pretty much Murphy has come a long way too. He was, like, willing to do so much just to get her to back to Sanctum, and with no complaint and stuff. So it's just, like, while I hope that she doesn't die, the show is kind of setting up that she will. But I was glad that Amori was able to have these moments with two people she holds near and dear to her, for sure. Another favorite I did have, I probably shouldn't, but it was the fact that Shaheda agreed to be the distraction on the disciples. I shouldn't be happy that he killed so many of them, but then at the same time, it's like, I'm glad he gave the distraction they needed to get to Maddie. It served to be a dead end, considering that she ended up how she did. But now it leads to my top 3 peeve moments, and the only peeve I really have is the fact that now Shaheda is now on the loose somewhere in Bardo. He definitely can't be trusted, but I don't know if he's going to be an asset when it comes to the last war. Is he going to be a temporary ally for Clark and the others during this last war, or is he going to be a third party they have to worry about while fighting against the disciples? So yeah, I don't think he's going to be fighting with the disciples. So that's something we can be assured of. But there's that. Or he could just find his way to the stone room and find out how to go back to Sanctum. Like, that could be something there too. But moving on to random questions very quickly. First one, do you think we will see any familiar faces in the series finale, which is also serving as the 100th episode? Naturally, when a television show comes to the 100th episode, there are usually familiar faces coming back, or they really do some big milestone fanfare thing. And they usually do that for the series finale too, if it ends up lining up with the storyline in itself. If it's planned ahead that it's meant to be the series finale, usually shows would do some big fanfare, or they'd bring a lot of familiar faces along the way, kind of a thing. Like, for example, with the Vampire Diaries, they brought a lot of characters back for the series finale. For Arrow's finale, they brought a lot of characters in the the final moments of the episode, during their whole funeral scene. So I'm just wondering, kind of did the same thing with the originals of, with the ghosts and stuff, familiar faces. So I'm wondering if we're gonna get something like that in some way, because then it also has me thinking the one way that they could do familiar faces in the series finale is the whole idea that if the stones allowed them to go back in time to where everybody who had died is now alive again, that could be one way to bring it back so they could start over again. I don't know if that's possible though, with how the stones work, or if that's what the other side is meant to look like, if it actually is them starting over and starting fresh, where they could reunite with every character that they've lost along the way. I don't know, but that's the only way I can think of that they could bring up past characters and make it be a happy ending. I don't know. Yeah, so there's that. And my final question is, do you think that this is truly the end for Maddie? Is the fate of her being locked inside her own body where she would have to have a mercy killing, do you think that is how they're going to end it for Maddie? After everything that went into protecting her. I don't know. I really don't know. But yeah, there's that. But I'm wondering if any of you had any random questions at all that came to you when you guys were watching the episode, if you ended up watching the episode or not. But any answers to my 2 questions, please let me know in the comments down below. We do have 1 video left, so I'm kind of wondering what your thoughts are going into it, because by the time I do my next video, that's going to be it. The show's going to be over. Things are going to be set in stone as is. But yeah, let's go into predictions very quickly. Based off the promo for the episode, I had to watch it twice to see if I captured everything, but this is what I noticed off the bat. Clark apologizing to Maddie for failing her, so she's back in memory capture. She has Maddie in her arms in this, so don't know at what point in the episode this is meant to happen. It looks like the last war is starting in the wooded area of Bardo. It looks like we see Emori in surgery back in Sanctum. It looks like the second time around, I think I saw Echo in a disciple helmet, so maybe that means that she's alive. I hope so, but I don't know how she would have gotten. I don't know how she would have gotten there, because we do also see Indra and Hope on Bardo as well, and as we know, they were trapped in the arena portion of the bunker. So I don't know. Maybe they dug their way out to get to the rec room. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Or maybe they just opened. No, they would have to use. Yeah, I don't know. How would they get there? Yeah. Because the only person who knows the code of Earth is Cadigan. I don't think he's going to tell any of our people on Bardo, in order for them to get their people on Earth. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see about that. And then we do see Raven in a disciple suit saying, "We are selfish and violent, but we survive." We hear that partial quote. But the synopsis for the series finale reads, after all the fighting and loss, Clark and her friends have reached the final battle, but is humanity worthy of something greater? I still think transcendence is the afterlife for them, so it ultimately would mean killing off humanity and then seeing where they go after they die, and that's where their peace is going to be met. I literally think that is what transcendence is supposed to be, because, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of like, is transcendence meant to be the next version of the City of Light? I don't know, but we'll find out in the final episode, which is next week. But otherwise, guys, that is pretty much it. So what did you guys think of this episode? What did you guys like about it? What do you think will happen in the 100th episode, the final episode of all of this? Let me know in the comments down below. Love to hear your thoughts, theories, and opinions about all that stuff. It's also, again, last video I'm going to be doing for the show itself in regards to recaps. Originally, I thought I might do a different type of video for the show, but maybe after some time, after I've healed with what happened in season 7, maybe we'll have to wait and see about that. But otherwise, guys, that's about it. Any of that stuff, comment down below about your hopes for the finale or what you think might happen. Also don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and check out my other videos if you haven't done so already. If you want, check out my Tumblr page, link for that is down below. I reblog promos, web clips, quotes, gifs, synopses, news, all that good stuff, all found in one place. Go check that out. I did just update it 2 days ago with all like the videos, the synopses, and all that for everything up to 7:15, and some reblogs along the way while I was doing it that popped up on my dashboard. They should be connected as well. But yeah, and then WordPress, link for that is down below. Anything I post online is connected to WordPress, a little more organized, a little more detailed, but still a work in progress as well. But otherwise, guys, that is pretty much it. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for your patience. Thank you so much for just following me along this journey in this final season. But we got one more episode to go. So I hope you guys tune in to hear what I have to say about that. I really don't know how it's going to go. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see about that. But until then, guys, this is Mel. Wish you all a great day, great week wherever you are, because it's the pandemic. Please be safe. Wear a mask and stay physically distant, but you can still be social with people through the digital age. So just keep that in mind. So yeah, until then, guys, have a good day. Bye.